what it's going to be like to retire now. Think about it. Things are different now. They really are different. We've just been talking about this. Maddy, you've written about it. You've written about reinventing retirement in the new normal. So how's retirement going to be different now, or is it? Is it my imagination?
Yeah, well, in some ways it'll be different. In some ways, retirement will be exactly the same. But open up your dictionary, look up the definition of retirement, and you may be a little bit shocked. It says to withdraw, to go away, to disengage. I mean, I don't know anyone who wants to do that for 20 or 30 years. That is not what retirement is about anymore. At AgeWave, we've done studies, and what we've determined is two words really resonate with people thinking about retirement and people who are retired, and that is freedom and reinvention. Now, I after this conversation, I know the word reinvention is being way overused, but maybe it's reimagine. And as Dominic said earlier, maybe we need to take the word retirement and throw it out and come up with a new word, because
Here.
I love the idea of that. And I wish somebody would come up with a great word, because I would love to take that word on and use it in everything that I do. But the point is that it's a grassroots effort. What's happening is retirees and those thinking about retirement are the ones who are reimagining what retirement is. And one of the key points is that it used to be work or retirement. Now it's becoming work and retirement.
Yeah.
And it's just becoming part of what retirement is. Some people do it because they have to, but lots of people are doing it because they want to, and they don't want to work as hard as they did when they were younger. They don't want to put in 60, 70 hours a week, but they want to stay engaged.
At that point in life, as you said, maybe we've lost a few brain cells, but maybe we've gained perspective and wisdom. I want to see myself put this to work in ways that I wake up in the morning and relish for what I'm going to do every day.
Yeah, and sometimes the work is not for money. Sometimes it's doing something that you really care about. Maybe, as we talked earlier about changing the way the Black community embraces health, maybe it's getting involved on a grassroots level with that. I mean, there are so many things, we need resources. And the biggest resource we need is human resource. We need to get out there as we get older and make our world, I hate to sound trite, but a better place.
Yep. And maybe what we give up in terms of income that we could have if we kept on working harder where we were, by enriching ourselves in other ways, like you just mentioned. I think that's a really thoughtful tip. Dom?
Yeah, I'd say, I think to the point around status seeking, it's very easy to get caught in this more. And you don't feel any better, right? You just feel like you just acquired a bigger house or a bigger car or a boat, and it's not giving you that. Right. I think the point is actually the way to get more and to be very selfish is to start to shift towards others, right? I think people have found that as you start to do that, guess what? It actually ends up fulfilling you. And I think that is a new message and a new way of thinking, and that's the opportunity.
For people who are lower income or middle income, they can't afford to retire. Although we know the studies show they end up having to retire because of health issues. So I would like to see more policies, first of all, to make sure that we don't have age discrimination in the workplace so that people can work longer if they're healthy enough and not be worried that they're going to be aged out of their jobs that they absolutely need. My husband and I, we can afford, because we're just great savers, to have a retirement where we don't have to work. But he and I want to do, nonprofit work. We spend a lot of time in financial literacy at our church, and we also volunteer at prisons to teach inmates who are about to be released how to handle their money. And we really want to grow that part of our volunteer work. We mostly work in just 1 or 2 prisons, but we'd like to work through more prisons throughout the state, but we can't do that without day jobs. So that's how we are imagining our retirement. We spend, some time doing that. And then the rest of the time, I really do want to be on the beach, kicking back, looking at the ocean.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right. So I think about retirement in sort of 3 phases, right? There's the go-go, slow-go, and the no-go years. And obviously, we can all talk about the go-go and slow-go because we're healthy enough to do things and do work at nonprofits, et cetera. But in our no-go years, where the prospect of having to go into a nursing home exists, and going into a nursing home in the post-COVID-19 era where we know 1 in every 4 deaths occurred in a nursing home because of COVID-19. What's the prospect there? Do we even think about that as an option or avoid it entirely?
I think, first of all, nursing homes are going to reconfigure. They're going to come up with a new model. There's no question about it. I mean, that's an industry that wants change. So these are well-meaning people, I think, at the heart, and they've made some mistakes and they want to fix it. However, very few older adults go into nursing homes, and I think we need to keep that in mind. And when you ask older people the way they want to live in the, as you call it, the no-go years, they want to be at home. They want to be aging and getting health care at home, and that's more affordable for one thing. They can be surrounded by family for another. And we need to, as Michelle suggested, change policy to make that an easier thing to do.
Well, I want to thank everybody. We have been to the future and back, and now we are just about out of time.
So when we think about the lighter side of your life and your money, one thing I keep thinking about is people keep saying they're going to work in retirement, but what will they do? Well, I was on the internet the other day and I came across 8 part-time jobs that retirees can do from home, according to the AARP. Those include bookkeeper, nurse, administrative assistant, paralegal, nanny, receptionist, customer service rep, and sales associate. I don't know about you, Pam, but that gives some folks some things to think about.
Well, I say add grandma to the list. Full-time babysitter for your grandkids, so their parents can work in the other room. That's what I'm seeing a lot of. So add grandparents to that list. And by the way, grandparents don't mind getting paid.